Hello, grade 10s. I've got interesting question of GAUTENG province June exam. We are treating June exam previous papers, and I believe this will be a good preparation for you for your June exam in the year 2025. So without waste of time, let me take you to a quadratic function. Okay? The graph of f of x is equals to negative x squared plus 4. This is a quadratic function. This is a quadratic, or we call it a parabola function. Negative x squared plus 4. Let me try to increase the, yes. Okay, so we have got a parabola function, negative x squared plus 4. And recall, I said in my previous video, I'm hoping that you saw it, I said all parabola functions, the ones that you are going to meet in grade 10, they are in the form ax squared plus q. So it's f of x equals to ax squared plus q. So you have to identify what is a. In this case, a is negative 1. Yes, if it's just negative, it means there is 1 there. So a is negative 1. It gives you the shape of the graph. We know that when our a is negative, the graph is going to have a set shape like this. Tells you the shape of a graph. And q, this number at the end, the q actual, this variable at the end, variable q, tells you about the y turning point. And that y turning point, it is also the y-intercept. What I'm saying is that my graph cuts exactly at the y-axis. So let us look, q, it's 4. It means that the graph is going to turn at 4. This 4 represents the turning point and also the y-intercept. It means where the graph turns in this case, this f of x, where it turns at the point B, where y there, it's 4. Actually, the coordinates of this point B is 0 and 4. Because any point on the y-axis, the x-coordinate will be 0. As long as the point is on the y-axis, exactly at that point, the x-coordinate is 0. Mathematically, when we talk about a point, it must be represented by the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate. So I am saying the point B, which is the turning point, should be represented by x turning point and the y turning point. Now, because the graph is turning exactly on the y-axis, it means that the x value there, it is 0. So the x turning point is 0. But what is the y turning point? The y turning point, I said, is represented by q, the number at the end, this 4. You are working with this function, f of x equals to negative x squared plus 4. So this 4 is your y turning point. So that's why I'm saying the graph turns at the point B, which is 0 and 4. Okay, so what about this point A and the point E? Okay, on the point A, the y coordinate there is 0. So I will just say negative x and 0. So the coordinates of A is a negative certain value of x. And we know that the y coordinate is going to be 0. Why? Because this point A is on the x-axis. Now, any point on the x-axis has the coordinate of, or has the y coordinate of 0. Any point that is found on the x-axis has got the y-coordinate of 0. So even the point E, it is x and 0. Actually, if you look at A and E, we call them the x-intercept of our parabola graph. We see that the parabola graph in this case is the graph of f of x. So the point A and the point E are the x-intercept of a parabola graph. And remember, at the x-intercept, the value of y, it's always 0. So that's why I'm saying at A, it's minus x and 0. At E, it's x and 0. The y coordinate there at the x-intercept, it's always 0. Okay? Now, I think we can go and read the question. What is it that they want? Determine the coordinates of a point B and D. I love this examiner. I love this examiner. Let me erase everything. I want to explain. Determine the coordinates of B and D. B, I said, is the turning point of your parabola graph F. B is the turning point. But it's not only the turning point, it is also the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is the y-cut of the graph. So if you look at the quadratic function f of x, it is cutting the y value at a point B. So we say the point B is the turning point and it is also the y-intercept. I will show you how to find the y-intercept. But due to my experience, I already know that this number, positive 4 at the end, it's my y turning point. Therefore, the coordinates of B, it's actually 0 and 4. But I will show you another way of finding the coordinates of B. Now, the coordinates of D, if you look at D, is the y-intercept of G. We are saying the graph of G cuts the y-axis at D. Guys, I'm hoping that this is making sense to you. If you look at F cuts the y-axis at B because the y-axis is this line. Maybe I'm hoping you also know the y-axis. This is my y-axis. So F cuts the y-axis at B, whereas G cuts the y-axis at D. So D is the y-intercept of G. How do we find the y-intercept? Finding the y-intercept of a function, in this case G, we let x to be 0. This is a very important idea in maths. If you are looking for the y-intercept, you have to let x to be 0. So I'm looking for the y-intercept of G because D is the y-intercept of G. So I will say G of x equals to mx plus 2. What do I do when I'm looking for the y-intercept? I let x to be 0. So G of 0, whether it's x, I put 0. M into 0 plus 2. So m times 0 is 0. So I'm left with 2. It means that the y value at D, it is 2. The y-intercept is 2. So when you write the coordinates of D, you say, I know that at D, x is 0. Why do we say x is 0 at D? Because D is on the y-axis. Any point that is exactly on the y-axis, it is called the y-intercept of a certain function. In this case, d is the y-intercept of g, so its x value is 0, but its y value is 2, because we found that y-intercept. So d is 0 and 2. Okay, let me go back to the coordinates of b here. B here. I said the coordinates of B is 0 and 4. There is another way we can find the coordinates of P. The coordinates of B, actually B is the y-intercept of F. F cuts the y-axis at B. So to find the y-intercept of F, we go to F, we let x to be 0. So you say f of x, I'm using f, function f of x, I let x to be 0 because I'm looking for the y-intercept. 0 squared is 0. So you are left with 4. F into 0, it's 4. So you see that the y-intercept of F, it's 4. So the coordinates of B is 0 and 4. Okay, hopefully you are enjoying mathematics. Now let's continue with the reading of the questions. Write down the range of F. Nice question. We can find the range of a parabola. We can find the range of a parabola as long as we have the turning point. We have the coordinates of B. We said it is 0 and 4. So what is the x value at B? The x value is 0. What is the y value at B? It's 4. And guess what? Grade 10s. This y value of 4, it's actually the highest value of y. There won't be any y value which is above this 4, because this is our turning point. This is where the graph turns. So B represents what we call the maximum point of the graph. Is the maximum point. All these other points, they are below a point B. So point B give us the highest value of y. So we say this graph of F has got many values of y, but all those values of y, they are below 4. 4 is the highest value of y. So what is the range? You say y is less than equals to 4. You say all values of y are below 4. The highest value of y we can have, it's 4. This is a very good question. As long as you have got the turning point of a parabola graph, you can be able to find its range. Okay. So now let me continue. Let me look at the next question. Determine the length of AE. This is a very good question. This is a very good question. They are looking for the distance from A to E. What is the distance from the point A to what? To E. So we have to find the length of AE. The first thing that you must do, you must know the coordinates of A and you must know the coordinates of E. This is a very dope maths question. What we are looking for, it's actually the x-intercept of F. If you look at the point A and the point E, it's where the quadratic graph cuts. The F cuts the x line at E, and it also cut the x line at A. So we say A and E, these are the x-intercept of F. So this is what we are going to do. To find the x-intercept, we let y to be 0. So I'm going to say f of x equals to minus x squared plus 4. I'm looking for the x-intercept. I have to let y to be 0. So 0 equals to minus x squared plus 4. What can you do now? Now you take negative x squared to the left-hand side. You now have x squared equals to 4. You have to solve for x. What now do you do? Simple. Put the square root both sides. You have got x squared. You put it in the square root equals to 4. You put it in the square root. Now, when you put the number inside the square root, I ask you to say plus or minus. You must always say plus or minus. So, x is going to be plus or minus 2, which means that the coordinates of A, it is 2 and 0. Remember, I said at A, the y coordinate is going to be 0 because A is the x-intercept. So x is 2, but the y coordinate is 0. And this is wrong. 2 and 0 is wrong because A is on the negative side of the x-axis. So it has to be negative 2, not 2. And then E is 2 and 0. Okay, so those are the coordinates of A and E. And I told you that the coordinates of A and E, the value is the same. The only different is the sign. If the x coordinate at A is negative 2, the x coordinate at E is 2. This is where we get positive and negative 2. So one x value is for A, which is negative 2. The other x value is for E, which is positive 2. Now, how do we find the distance from A to E? I will advise you guys, don't even use the distance formula. You can use the distance formula. You will get the same answer as mine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say to find the distance from A to E, just take x value at E and subtract x value at A. If you are not making sense of what I'm talking about, go for the distance formula. But this is the simple way of finding the length from A to E. You take the x value of a point on the right side, x value of E, you subtract the x value on the left side. Why? Why am I not using the distance formula? Because this is a horizontal line, and I see that the y coordinate at E is 0, and the y coordinate at A is 0. So making use of y will not influence the answer. No need to use distance formula. You just take x at E. You subtract x at A. So now x at E is 2 minus x at A is negative 2. So you subtract negative 2. Your answer is 4. 2 minus minus 2 is 4. Make sure that you always find a positive answer when you are looking for the distance. The distance can never be negative. Grade 10s, the distance can never be negative. So the distance, the length of AE, it's 4. Now I'm going to calculate the value of M. This is 4.4. Calculate the value of M. Where is M? Oh, M is on a straight line. M is on a straight line. This is another interesting question. Wow, I love this exam. This is another interesting question for you, grade 10s. I love this problem. Which question paper is this one? This is so intriguing. GAUTENG. This is so interesting. Look at g of x. G of x is equals to mx plus 2. So they are saying calculate the value of m. They are looking for this guy here. Sorry, guys. Bless me, I'm very sorry for that. Let me drink water. We are looking for the value of M. Okay, this is one of the interesting questions. I love this one because that's what they normally do to grade 12. We do something like this. I want you guys to see that the point A, which is -2 and 0, it is also seated on the graph of G. If you look at the graph, that there is 2 points that are found on the graph of G. We have got the point A, which is -2 and 0. We have the point C, which we don't know. And actually, we also have the point D. But I'm going to use the point A, which is -2 and 0. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this -2 and 0 and substitute it on G. I'm going to say X is -2, Y is 0. Mathematically, you have a right to take a point which is on the graph of G and go and substitute it on the equation of G. What is the equation of the straight line G? Is G of X equals to mx plus 2. So I'm going to say G of X, my Y is 0, my X is -2 plus 2. From here, I will solve for X. I will say, for M, 0 equals to M times -2 is -2M. -2M plus 2. Take -2M to the left-hand side. 2M equals to 2. Divide both sides by 2. M equals to 1. So you found the value of M, which is actually the gradient of a straight line G. G represents the gradient. Hopefully, you are following. Okay, guys, the next question say, determine the point of intersection. The intersection of A and the intersection of C. This is what we are going to be doing from here. We want to find the point of intersection. The two graphs meet at A, not only at A, and also at C. This is what they are looking for. They are looking for the point of intersection. Just give me a minute or some seconds. I'm coming. I am back, guys. Sorry for that. So we are looking for the point of intersection. Let me erase this lot of stuff. Let me erase for this lot of stuff. We are looking for the coordinates of A and the coordinates of C. Actually, the coordinates of A, we already found it. It was -2 and 0. So our focus will be on the coordinates of C, which is the point of intersection. C is where the two graphs meet. So we need to know how to find the coordinates of the point of intersection. And what do? We look at the two graphs that meet, that intersect. we equate those two graphs. So I'm going to say at C, f of x is intersecting with g of x. So you take f of x, you equate it to g of x. What is my f of x? Is negative x squared plus 4. My f of x is equals to negative x squared plus 4. So you say negative x squared plus 4 equals to, what is my g of x? My g of x equals to mx plus 2. Remember, we found this m, it was 1. So g of x equals to 1x plus 2. I won't write that 1 because 1x, it's x. So this is just x plus 2. G of x, it's x plus 2. From here, you start solving for x. What do? You can take x squared, bring it to the right-hand side. I don't like x squared being negative. So the reason I'm taking it to the right-hand side, I want it to be positive. So you're going to have x squared, this side on the right, you're going to have x squared plus x, it has been this side, even 2, it has been this side. You also take positive 4 to the same side, is going to be minus 4. Therefore, you now have x squared, or this side is 0. You now have 0 equals to x squared plus x minus 2. Yes, 0 equals to x squared plus x minus 2. So you have to factorize this quadratic equation. X squared plus x minus 2 is a quadratic equation. It's very, very, very important to factorize your quadratic equation. When you see quadratic and you are solving for x, you have to factorize. X times x will give you x squared. The factors of 2, obviously, is 2 and 1. I'm going to say 2 is positive, 1 is negative. So x plus 2 equals to 0, or x minus 1 equals to 0. So x plus 2 equals to 0 gives us the value of x equals to negative 2. If you take positive 2 to this side, x equals to negative 2. X minus 1 equals to 0, give us the value of x equals to 1. You take minus 1 to this side, x equals to 1. So the two graphs meet at a point where x is 1 and also where x is negative 2. And we see that x is negative 2 at the point A. Remember, they also meet, the two graphs meet at A, where x is negative 2. And they meet again at C, where x is 1. So the value of the x coordinate at C is 1. I just have to find now the y coordinate. What do you do to find the y coordinate? Go back to those two graphs that they were meeting, to those two functions that were meeting. Remember, we have got two functions that are meeting, a quadratic and a straight line. I'm going to go to a straight line. My straight line is g of x equals to x plus 2. This is the equation of a straight line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, where there is x, I plug in 1. I want to know the value of y when x is 1. So you say g into 1 equals to 1 plus 2. G into 1 equals to 3. So the coordinates of C, it's 1 and 3. The point of intersection. It's very interesting. Hopefully, guys, you will be able to work it out when it comes in your exam, the point of intersection. Another question says, if k of x equals to g into negative x, determine the values of x such that f of x is greater than or equals to k of x. Maybe they are trying to bring some complex stuff. Let's hear what they are saying. They are saying if k of x, if the function k of x, what's happening? Oh, if the function k of x is equals to g into negative x. Do you still remember the equation of g of x? G of x is equals to x plus 2. This is g of x. So what is going to be g into negative x? G into negative x, simply say, go to the input value x, and where there is x, you put in negative x. So where there is x, I'm going to put in negative x plus 2. So g into negative x is equals to negative x plus 2. So let us look at this negative x plus 2 on the graph. I think I will have to have an idea of it on the graph. Why? Because the question says determine the value of x such that f is on top of k. Don't forget that k is equivalent to g into negative x. It means that actually k is this function. K of x is equals to negative x plus 2. Because g into negative x is negative x plus 2. So k of x as well is negative x plus 2. Now they are saying find the values of x where f is on top of a function k. So I need to draw this function k on my plane, which is negative x plus 2. I want to draw a straight line. How do we draw a graph of a straight line? This is another important math skill that you must have. You must know how to draw the graph of a straight line. Myself, I draw the graph of a straight line using what we call a dual intercept method. Simple stuff, simple way of drawing a straight line. Your straight line is k of x is equals to negative x plus 2. So to draw your straight line, you just find its x-intercept and also its y-intercept. Let us start with the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, we let x 0. Y-intercept of this k, so you say k into 0 is equals to negative 0 plus 2. So the y-intercept is 2. Okay, the y-intercept of k is 2. Now let us find the x-intercept of k. I'm using actual intercept method. I must have the y-intercept. I must also have the x-intercept. So let me find the x-intercept. How do I find the x-intercept of k? Let y be 0. So I'm having k of x. To find the x-intercept, we let y to be 0. So k of x is going to be 0. The x-intercept also is 2. Okay? The y-intercept is 2. The x-intercept is 2. Let me say 1. Or the coordinates of E was 2. So my 2 is here. Let me say 1, 2. Okay? And the y-intercept is 2. So here it's 4. At D, don't forget that the coordinates of D, we set it 0 and 2. So 2 again is here. So the straight line of k of x is this one. This is a straight line of k of x. Sorry guys. You must pass a D. And it should be a straight line. Yes. So now I have this straight line of k of x. So what does the question want? Let's go to the question. The question says, determine the value of x where f is on top of k. Let us look it. F is on top of k. Oh, uh-huh. F is on top of K, which means that this is a function K. F, it's always on top, this part of a graph. This part of a graph, this part, it's always on top of this part which I've drawn with a red color. Yes. So what are the X values? We see that it's actually on top from this point where they intersect up to this point of E. So between these two values of X and 2, between this value of X here and this value of X at 2, the function F, it's always on top. Okay, what were the coordinates of C? The coordinates of C was, this was the point of intersection. What did we find on the coordinates of C? I wonder what we found there at C. What did we find when we were solving for X here? Oh, it was 1. It was 1. So it means here the X value is going to be -1. Okay, so the function, it's on top between -1 and 2. That's my take. That's my take. Okay, I think that was the last question on a quadratic function. Watch out for more videos. On the other videos, I will be dealing with hyperbola alone, exponential function alone. So make sure that you also get those videos. It was great having you from me, Academic World by Mpatlele TL. See you next time.